Caruso able to get the steal. Boy, he could see it coming. Now Green leaves it up top. Davis hammers it down. The stifling Lakers defense turning into offense.
Anthony Davis had 43. The LA Lakers get their first series win since 2012, and they are the first in the West to advance to the conference semifinals. The number one seed is moving on to round two, awaiting the winner of the Houston-Oklahoma City series. They take care of the Portland Trail Blazers in 5 games with a 131-122 win. I'm Matt Weiner. Welcome into our post-game coverage here on Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. The Hall of Famer Grant Hill right there as well. And Grant, you know, first round series, maybe you don't learn that much about a team like the Lakers against a Blazer team that had to fight their way in, was without Damian Lillard in this one. But what we do know is this: they're top 2 in terms of talent, high-end talent, as good as anybody in the postseason. And tonight, they got 79 points out of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That duo alone, how formidable does that make LA moving forward?
Well, Matt, you said it best. They're good, and they were good tonight. I think this is what you envision. I think the Laker fans from really the start of the season, even going back to when AD was traded to the Lakers, having him paired with LeBron James, and in the playoffs, your superstars carrying you. We saw that in Miami with LeBron and D-Wade. We saw it with LeBron and Kyrie Irving. And we were a little bit unsure, the seeding games and, at least game 1 in this series. But, since then, they've been able to really coexist, and both of them play at a high level. And I think they were kind of finding their rhythm and working their way, as they approached the bubble. Well, they found it. And they found it against, like LeBron said in his post-game interview, a red-hot Portland team. So they're locked in right now. They figured out sort of the formula for success. I still think, the consistent shooting from the others is going to be important the further they go in the playoffs. But I think for a Laker fan, you have to be pleased where they were in the seeding games, not really in a good rhythm. They found their rhythm. They're playing, really good basketball. They're defending well. And when you have those 2 big guys, like you said, Matt, it gives you a chance to win against anybody.
Third straight game in this series in which the Lakers shot 50% or better, but it comes against a Portland team that has been inconsistent to bad defensively, frankly, in the bubble. So how much of the Lakers' offensive struggles during the seeding games do you think have been addressed, and how much of this had to do with maybe the opponent in this series?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think, first of all, with Portland, they were so great. And I think, Dame Lillard, the way he played, in the seeding game, it kept us all captivated, and kept us excited and into it. And, of course, Phoenix as well. Some teams, I think, and some players were maybe better prepared for when we restarted here in the bubble. And I think some teams, have worked their way into finding sort of their groove and their rhythm. And, I think LA, is definitely that team. Look, Portland's not a great offensive team. They have to outscore, not a great defensive team. They have to outscore you. But I think it was all about LA. I think LA just didn't play well. They weren't really shooting the ball well. LeBron was, just sort of finding his way. And I think once they went down 0-1, it was a sense of urgency. And I think that really forced them to come together quickly, and credit to them, they figured it out. So I think it was more about what LA wasn't doing and what they needed to do than, the defense of Portland, particularly in that first game. Once LA got it going, they were able to control the rest of the series.
LeBron and Anthony Davis were incredibly efficient in this game, 28 of 37 from the field for the 79 points I mentioned earlier. LeBron, he did, because his usage rate is so high, he's going to wind up with numbers one way or the other. 13th career postseason triple-double with at least 30 points, but he was also an aggressive scorer, particularly earlier in the game. For you, what is the proper approach for him moving forward in terms of looking for shots as opposed to being the point guard, which is his nominal position these days?
Well, I think if there's any player in the league who has sort of mastered that balance, that balance of facilitating, but also, knowing, when and how to score for your team, it's LeBron James. And, I think he's a guy who really kind of reads the situation. Every game is different. What's going on with your teammates? How are they playing? Are they in a rhythm? Can he get them going? He's a guy who just can approach the game in a number of different ways. And we've seen that, day in and day out throughout his career. If Anthony Davis is playing efficient and is aggressive and is productive, then I think it allows LeBron to play more of a, facilitator, floor general game, get everybody involved. But if Davis is struggling, which, at times he did in this particular series, he struggled in the first half there, I think in game 2 or game 3. LeBron is capable of just providing, he's like the ultimate utility guy. And I think sometimes when you say that, there's a negative sort of connotation to that. But like he provides what the team needs. And so he's figured that out. I would envision, though, Matt, as we go further along in the postseason, and if LA is fortunate to get to the finals, they're going to need him to come out and score and facilitate, and much like he did tonight here in Game 5 against Portland. So he can beat you many different ways, and certainly we've seen that throughout this series, his approach to the game in these series.
And LeBron's teams are now 14-0 in first-round series over the course of his career. For Portland, Trailblazers, one of the great stories of the bubble, obviously, playing their way into the very first play-in game, winning that, getting this first-round series with the LA Lakers. Once Lillard goes down, the writing is essentially on the wall, given all that they had lost over the course of the season. But looking forward for them, assuming all the parts are there.
And so it all kind of worked out at the end where you were able to get Nurkic back and certainly Collins, although he got hurt again, they were able to put together a good run. I think what happened with them, they had zero, their margin of error was very slim. So they had to be on point and play full tilt, in the seeding games. And a little bit, hey, LA turned the switch in this series. But I think some of it, too, was fatigue. They had to, exert so much energy to get there. And now you have to play against the number 1 seed, the LA Lakers. That was tough. But I like this team. I like the versatility. I think Gary Trent Jr. has emerged as a viable option off the bench who can really score. I think you can go big inside with Whiteside and Nurkic. Collins is another addition if he can stay healthy. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Carmelo. I think he's kind of figured it out. He got his sea legs and he's fit into, to what they need to do. So if they can stay healthy, I think that'll be huge. Even if they can keep this core and this group together, I like them in a regular season having better position going into the postseason, and maybe potentially seeing a team like a Lakers, the number 1 seed, further into the playoffs. But with Nurkic, Lillard, McCollum, and then the others, Carmelo, if he can still play at the level he played at this year, I like what next year has to offer. In terms of getting over that hump to become an elite team, a team that has a real chance of winning a championship, they're a little bit away from that. Maybe 1 or 2 players, maybe this experience with health will help propel them to that level. But I think they have a chance to get back to a Western Conference Finals, believe it or not, much like they did, I believe, just a few years ago.
Just last season, which seems like, in these days, seems like 8 years ago now.
I know, exactly.
Who can keep track of time? But it was really just last season, if you can believe that. The day began with the really tragic news of the death of Clifford Robinson, one of the great Trailblazers in the team's history. It ends with their elimination here in the first round. Here's head coach Terry Stotts from the bubble in Orlando.
Okay, Jacob, go ahead.
All right, Coach, first question's coming from Aaron Ventures with the Oregonian. Hi, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about, one, how your team came out before today? You said you thought they'd come out and give a great effort despite all that's going on, not having Damien. And then two, what went into wearing the headbands to honor Cliff Robinson, and what you think that meant to the team?
Well, I'll answer the second one first. I'm not sure whose idea it was with the headbands. I thought it was a great tribute. I debated about wearing one myself. I didn't know if I could pull that off or not, but I thought it was a great tribute, and I was proud of our guys to do that. As far as as I said before the game, I thought we would compete, and we did. I was really proud of the way we played tonight. We ran out of gas, but we just kept hanging around. That's, when you're against a better team, all you can hope is to hang around, make it a fourth quarter game, and win it at the end. So we didn't quite get to the end.
Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
Coach, can you kind of describe your feelings and thoughts when you took the starting five out for the final time?
I was just thinking about the effort that they put forward tonight. Obviously CJ played the entire game until I took him out. Melo played 40-some minutes. Nurk gave a great effort. So when I took those three guys out, what they had done tonight against a really good team, they could have cashed it in. They didn't. And I was really proud of the way they competed and thought we had a chance.
Next question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
You look back at all these weeks in the bubble, what are you going to remember the most from this experience?
I'm going to remember how proud I am or how proud I was of our guys. We came down here, we played 9 playoff games to get into the playoffs, and I think what they showed individually and collectively, I told them I don't know if I've been more proud of a group of guys than what they did down here in the bubble. It was, we weren't expected to make it. I won't go through all the things that went against us, but we deserved to be in the playoffs, and they made it happen. Obviously, Damien went on a great run, and he carried us and got us here. He's not here with us now, but more than anything else, going into the bubble, I really wanted to be a part of this. Personally, I wanted to be the fact that the league could pull this off in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of the social unrest, the social injustice that's going on, and if we could pull it off, I wanted to be a part of it. And this year, 2020, is